Welcome back to the channel. We're now on episode 33, I think, of the restoration project. Yeah, so pretty much all under the car is pretty much done. Although I still have to take care of the tie rod gaiters. What I'm going to focus on this episode is to fix some annoying jobs that I've got still left to do on the car. For example, the indicators are still not working. Obviously, I've mentioned the tie rod gaiters need to be sorted out. One of the headlights is also, when it goes down, it kind of vibrates a bit and judders a bit when it drops as well. So I perhaps want to take a look at that. Another thing, now I'm going to take the seat out of the car, is the bonnet catch. So yeah, the leverage mechanism there is not working correctly, and I was a bit stuck one time because I thought the bonnet would be stuck shut, and try and get a bonnet open when it's stuck shut. So that is a task in itself. But anyway, I did manage to get it open in the end. I've taken the actual mechanism out of at the moment. So yeah, I still need to fix that. It's the leverage bit. It's put too much force on it over the years, and it's bent it all out shape. And yeah, so I need to correct that. Yeah, and then seatbelt mounts, rear seatbelt mounts. My recent visit to Lotus bits, I bought some seatbelt mounts for the rear. So I was going to make them myself, but I decided, yeah, whilst I was there and they were on the shelf, to buy them. So I need to fit them as well, fit the rear seatbelts properly. And then I think we're pretty much good to go. So, as they say, there's no time like the pleasant. Let's get on with it. Focusing on the tie rod ends, as you can see, there's no gaiter anymore there. But I'll focus here on the nuts here. And if I apply a spanner, yeah, I can loosen that. But it's the nut that seems to be, the locking nut, seems to be seized. So what I'll do is I'll heat it up, I think. Heat up the nut. I mean, I can remove the tie rods. I can remove the tie rod end there without any problem at all, because obviously that's turning now. The inner tie rod end is unscrewing from the outer tie rod end, so that's no issue. But yeah, what I'll do is I think I'll remove this. What is it? 2019, I think. Yeah, apply heat to this nut and hold it with a pair of grips and see if I can loosen it that way. So let me sort that out. So I'm just applying a bit of heat to the nut. Yeah, I've already secured the mold grips in place, as you can see. Hopefully this will allow me to loosen this nut. I'm pleased to announce that did actually work, so it is actually loosening now. So I'll just remove the nut. So with the nut removed, I can remove the bit here that retains the gaiter. It's off. And what I'll do is I'll get a Stanley knife and remove all the bits of the old gaiter in there, and I can slip the new one over there. So I've managed to remove the retainer that held the old gaiter on there. I'll probably pack that ball joint with a little bit more grease. It really needs to be taken off and stripped out, but yeah, I'll pack it with a bit more grease before I put the gaiter on. I've cleaned it up a bit, and although it's a bit loose, I mean, there's no play in there at all, which I'm pleased about, but it should be a bit tighter than that. There's absolutely no play at all. But what Lotus bits do is they take off the collar here and crush it a bit more to secure it a bit more, but I'm not going to do that, obviously. Let me put some grease on there. It's some fresh grease on there. And then now the gaiter. Yeah, unfortunately, I think I've been sent the wrong gaiters, because there's no way on planet Earth they're going to fit over there. And I've tried turning the steering wheel all the way out on this side, and it's just too short to fit on. Alright, let me check eBay and see, or Amazon and see if I can find something that would fit the gaiters at the end of the day, so they shouldn't be too complicated. But let me do that, put everything back together. So I bought some new gaiters off eBay, off Amazon, and as you can see they're a much better fit. It's not perfect at the front here, but I'll get away with that, that's no problem. But at the back end, I think it's 47.5 millimeters diameter of the rubber bit at the back end there, and that's worked well. So I'll just put some zip ties on that, and that should solve the problem. So I'll put the new tie rod end on there, tighten that up. Yeah, so it looks like job done. I probably won't do the other side until I've adjusted the steering here properly, but that's the next thing to do. So I basically just keep adjusting it until the steering wheel returns to its centre position again, and that's pretty much measures it accurately before you take it to get professionally measured, of course. Moving on to the problem with the indicators. As you can see, this is the relay here for the indicator, and the purple wire at the bottom there should be the live wire, which is. Now, the reason why this isn't working is because that kind of fits in like that, and the purple wire is going into the negative terminal rather than the positive terminal. So this is either relays were designed like that before, or it's been wired up incorrectly, this indicator relay. So I reckon if I swap over the positive and negative terminals in there, that should solve the problem. So let me see what I can do about that. So I've just wired some extensions onto there now, and yeah, I'll wire it up into the car the opposite way around, positive and negative, and see if that's done the trick. So all wired back together. Let's have a look at what we've got. Well, that certainly looks promising. Repeater's working. That looks good. And also that's not working. The repeater here, I knew that wasn't working, and that one is. All right, progress. The next thing I'm going to focus on now then is the bonnet release thing, and this bit here was kind of bent out of position. That gets bent there, and yeah, it's not particularly a good design, this, it has to be said. It's a bit weak. I'll give it one more chance and I may re-engineer this, but it's sort of, you've got the lever which sort of screws on there, and the pin sort of goes through there and holds the cable, which is under the dashboard, and it kind of rotates backward like that and pulls the bonnet cable in. This gets bent, as I say, but yeah, let me put that in now though anyway. It sort of fits under there. It's a little bit awkward, but I'll have to crawl under the car again, under the dashboard I mean. Yeah, that's a very awkward job, trying to screw that thing back in there. I don't know how much you can see, probably not a lot, but the mechanism for the bonnet release, it took me a good hour or so faffing around, and I think, you know, the best method was probably just to stick my hand in there and sort of do it blind to get the spacers in there. But at the moment I've actually removed the bonnet, at least the car, so I can't see how it works properly, but I'll do that when I've finished with the headlights. Now the problem with the headlights is that the left-hand headlight, it raises no problem, but when I switch it off, the headlights, it kind of judders as it goes back down, and I can't really see what's causing the issue. So had a look at the side here. Well, first of all, I've removed obviously the headlight pod itself, but also the electric motor here. Now this is turning quite freely now, but what I've done is I've removed the back plate off here. I mean, the whole mechanism's held in by sort of those 3 bolts there, held inside the pod. And I've removed this back plate here, which is, there's also a, what do you call it, a wash, I don't know what you call those bloody things nowadays, but yeah, a washer thing inside there. And I've kind of greased the back of this bit here, a little bit there to free the movement. It was a little bit sticky before, and also turning it around here, this is the bit that holds onto the mechanism, and I'm trying to release there's like a retaining clip. I don't know if you can see that very well. There's a retaining clip there, and I'm just trying to prise it out slightly with a screwdriver, not too much, and then sprayed behind it with WD-40, and then also followed by this silicone lubricant, if you like. So yeah, that's one of the things. I don't usually like doing things in this way, obviously, because I don't know what the problem is if I do tackle everything once, but tackle everything together. So what I was also going to do is on the pod here, I'm going to sand these down a bit, these connections here, and also on the car, bit of sandpaper. And I'm probably going to remove this plate here and just sort of bend it back a little bit at the bottom there. This seems to be sticking out a bit, so I'll see if that might be causing the issue, but hopefully we'll get this solved. So let me get on with that and put it back together and see if this issue is now solved. It's still juddering. It's a bit better, but not quite perfect yet. Maybe I'll just sand it a little bit more, I think. What I've done here now is I've just changed the black bits. There's a black bit and a white bit, if you like. And I put the black bit, so I've basically put it upside down, put the black bit at the top. And that seems to have made a bit of difference. So now it doesn't judder as much. So I don't know if that was the cause of the problem, but now it's operating very smoothly. I still need to do it on the other side here, but that's not juddering at all, so I'll probably leave it for now. But it seems to be job fixed, strangely enough. Yeah, it's a lot smoother that now. Alright. Screwed the bonnet back on, and what I'm going to do now is check the bonnet release. Cross the fingers here, because if this doesn't work, I'm fucked. Yeah. There, locked in place. Let's have a look. Under there. Yep. So, all good. Job done. Guess now the next thing is the rear seat belt. I did buy a repeating bulb light. I should put that in as well, I think. Once I can sort that out now. I'm just trying to screw in the rear seat belt mounts here. It's really a two-man job, this, but kind of wedged it in there with a brake fluid can. And just about get the bolts in. Need to get this one in properly though. I mean, the attachment's on this side, so the seat belt sort of goes through the rear plate and attaches down there, so I'm going to try and screw that bolt in now. Almost done. Yeah, I think it's raining so heavily now. I think I'm going to leave it at this, and yeah, at least I've got the back seat in there. Yeah, so I didn't quite finish everything. The headlights are still juddering on the way down. I don't know if anybody's got any tips. Yeah, sometimes it works okay, sometimes it doesn't. I've screwed the back seats in properly now, so I think the only thing I've got to check before they do the MOT is going to be the horn and maybe the spray for the washer wiper. I haven't checked that yet, see if it works, but the horn doesn't work. I'll have to do a little bit of diagnosis with that. But anyway, wishing you all a very Merry Christmas, and I'm going to enjoy a glass of wine, as you can see, and all the best.